One love, one heart. Let's get together.
Let's make some Jamaican chicken foot soup. Yum, 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 yum. So let's get right into the video. As you can see here, I have all my ingredients. I have my yam, my pumpkin, which is key, corn, scallion, scotch bonnet pepper, carrots, chocho, also known as chayote, onion, pimento seeds, thyme, cock soup, and some chicken noodle soup. All that's going in there. So here we have, I already washed and I already cut the nails off the chicken foot soup, and I had put it in the pot and I'm just boiling it up. I'm going to boil it for about like 20 minutes before I add anything in it. Reason being is because, as you can see, all this yuck is just coming off of the soup. So it's all like just fat and all that stuff that's coming off of it. We don't want any of that in the soup. So we're going to boil it up as long as possible until you stop seeing all this yuck coming off. So you just keep boiling it, scraping it out, let it boil again, scrape it out until you don't see all this yuck anymore. You can put it either in the garbage, in the sink. I usually just toss all this yuck in the sink, to be honest. But whatever you feel to do, you do that. So yeah, we're just gonna boil it up as long as possible until all the yuck comes off. So I cut up some pumpkin, onions, and garlic, and I'm gonna put them inside of the pot. I'm gonna give it another little go around and then I'll put it in there. Okay, so we're gonna pour the pumpkin, onions in the pot. Be bothered to chop up any garlic, so we're gonna use the jar. I think that should be good. And we're gonna cook this up. And I'm gonna add some pimento seeds. How much I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's just do, we're just gonna do 7 of them. Okay, just mix that up. Let that cook. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to push down on the pumpkin so it mushes out a little bit. Okay, I'm going to push out the rest without the camera because I'm working with one hand at the moment. Okay, so as you can see, I have pushed them out. I didn't push out every single one, but I did push out a good chunk of them. Now I got, so in here I have chocho, or also known as chayote, I think, and then some carrots. And I'm gonna peel some yam and put them in. So I'm about to put these in now. And then I'm gonna peel the yam and put the yam in. I have the yam all chopped up here, and we're gonna put it inside the soup. I think I chopped up too much yam, but we're gonna make it work. Yeah. Okay, I'm coming. 1 second, baby. Okay. We're gonna leave that and let that cook up. So now I'm just preparing the dumpling to put in the soup. So I have about roughly like 2 cups of flour, and then I'm going to add about let's say a teaspoon of salt, and then I'm going to add a teaspoon of baking powder. These are just rough estimates, you guys, but that's what I'm going to be doing here. And then after that, I will be adding some sugar. I do have a tablespoon thing of sugar, but it's about like half that I put in there. And then I put in some scoops of margarine as well. And then I mix it all together. So I crumple up the margarine in with everything before I add warm water. So when you add the warm water, you have to pretty much just do it slow, because you don't want to add so much water. But if you add more water than you should, then all you have to do is just add a little bit of more flour. But I just add warm water a little bit at a time. So I'm just about to pour a little bit of warm water here, and we're going to be kneading the dough. You don't want it to be a crumbly dough. You don't want to overly knead it. You just kind of have it, knead it just right, just soft. Usually they say if you push your finger into it, you should have like a little bounce back. So you don't want it too wet. You don't want it too crumbly, just right. So now that our dough is done, we want to let it rest. So I just get a wet paper towel. I just put it with warm water, squeeze it out, and just rest it over it for a little bit until we're ready for it. Now we're back at the soup. So I'm just putting in those cock soup mix, but I had shaken out the noodles through a strainer, and I'm just putting just the stock, the powder itself in there. I'm putting one of these chicken Maggi and season up packages in there as well. And then I'm going to add some Vegeta to this mixture. I'm right now adding some black pepper to it as well. You just want to just add some of your seasonings just to bring out the flavor. So here's some seasoning salt that we're adding to that as well. Yeah, just season it up because you want it to taste good. You want it to have its flavors. Here's some more Maggi seasoning, but this is the vegetable one. Just add a little bit more. And then the Goya adobo, the red cap. I'm adding that in there as well. And trust me, it's not going to be salty whatsoever. And now we have our thyme and our scallion that were added in there as well for some flavor. And then we're just going to mix it all up. And yeah, it's not salty with all these seasonings. It's actually really good, very flavorful. And yeah, we're just going to let it sit and let it just cook. And I almost forgot, you can't forget your Scotch bonnet. You have to add that in there for a little bit of flavor, a little bit of heat as well. But mainly just a flavor because we're not popping the pepper at all. So once we let the Scotch bonnet just cook up in the pot a little bit, it's now time to add the other ingredients. So that's the corn, and that is also the dumpling. So what we're going to do, we're going to break off some pieces off the dumpling, and we're going to make it into like spinners, and we're going to pop it into the pot. So as you can see here, these are what we call spinners. And we're just gonna mix it up after we add all of them in, just to make sure all of them are in the pot and they could cook up properly. Yeah, and then we're gonna also be adding the corn in there. I did break the corn in pieces. We're gonna add all that into the pot and let it cook. And pretty much we'll be done after this. We're just letting the dumpling cook, the corn pretty much cook, and everything else will be it. While everything's cooking, you do add the Scotch bonnet back as well, just so it could continue giving its flavor.
One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. Hear the children crying. Hear the children crying. Saying, give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Saying, let's get together and feel alright. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let them all pass all their dirty remarks. There is one question I'd really love to ask. Is there a place for the hopeless sinners who have hurt all mankind? Just a Savior's own belief. One la la la. What about a one night? What about let's get together and
And here you have it, one delicious chicken foot soup.